For centuries, lighthouse keepers stood between sailors and disaster. Every night, while storms battered the coast and waves crashed against the rocks below, a single light burned in the darkness, and behind that light was a person, a keeper, a profession that once saved countless lives. Today, almost all of them are gone. This is the story of the last lighthouse keeper. Long before GPS satellites floated above the Earth, long before radar screens guided ships through fog and storms, sailors relied on something much simpler: a beam of light. Lighthouses were built on dangerous coastlines, remote islands, and rocky cliffs where ships were most at risk. Their purpose was simple: warn sailors of danger, guide them home. But a lighthouse could not operate itself. Someone had to keep the light alive. That responsibility belonged to the keeper. Life as a lighthouse keeper was not glamorous. Many worked alone. Some spent weeks without seeing another person. Their homes were often located in isolated places where harsh weather was a constant companion. Every day followed a routine. The lantern had to be cleaned. The mechanisms had to be inspected. Fuel supplies had to be monitored. The tower itself required constant maintenance. If the light failed, ships could be lost. Entire crews depended on a stranger they would never meet. During storms, the job became even more important. While most people sheltered indoors, lighthouse keepers climbed narrow staircases to ensure the light continued to shine. The wind howled, rain hammered the windows, the sea raged below, yet the keeper remained at their post. For generations, this profession was respected. Lighthouse keepers became symbols of reliability, discipline, and quiet courage. But history has a way of changing even the most important jobs. As technology advanced, engineers began developing automated systems. Electric lamps replaced older equipment. Remote monitoring became possible. Computers could detect problems before a human ever noticed them. The need for full-time keepers slowly disappeared. One lighthouse after another became automated. The lights continued to shine, but the people behind them were no longer needed. Many keepers retired. Others moved on. Some watched the profession they loved fade away. What had once been a vital role became a piece of history. By the late 20th century, only a handful of traditional lighthouse keepers remained. Each year, the number grew smaller. The world had changed. Ships now relied on satellites and digital navigation systems. The old routines that had protected sailors for centuries seemed destined to vanish forever. And then came the final chapter. In some parts of the world, the last keepers remained on duty long after automation became possible. Not because machines could not replace them, but because people believed the human presence still mattered. Visitors came to meet them. Journalists interviewed them. Photographers documented their lives. Many realized they were witnessing the end of an era. The keeper was no longer just maintaining a lighthouse. They were preserving a connection to the past, a living reminder of how generations before us navigated an uncertain world. Eventually, even those final positions disappeared. The towers remained. The lights still flashed across the water. Ships still passed safely through the darkness. But the keeper was gone. A profession that had guided sailors for centuries quietly slipped into history. Today, thousands of lighthouses still stand around the world. Some operate automatically. Some have become museums. Others sit abandoned, watching over coastlines that no longer need them. Yet their stories remain. And so do the stories of the people who climbed the towers, maintained the lamps, and kept the light burning through storms, isolation, and endless nights. The last lighthouse keeper did not simply lose a job. The world lost a tradition, a way of life. a human presence that had stood watch for generations. The light still shines, but the keeper is gone. And with that, one more chapter of human history came to an end.